by saying good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vic Chao, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the HiRes Audio Pavilion here at CES. Now, as most of you already know, there are a variety of ways to listen to digital music today. But only HiRes Audio brings you closest to the actual studio experience by delivering your favorite recordings just as the producer and engineer always intended. And one of the best examples of this is the legendary Capitol Studios in Hollywood. For more than 6 decades, this iconic facility has been the place where some of the greatest recordings in history have been made by famous artists including Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, the Beach Boys, and numerous others. In fact, the sound quality at Capitol is so highly regarded that more than half of its total recording business is actually derived from outside music projects. Additionally, Capitol mixes and records major motion picture scores, plus they also oversee all of the high-res transfers for Universal Music's extensive catalog. And these are just a few of the reasons why Capitol Studios has been the source of so many Grammy-winning albums throughout the years. But Capitol isn't a museum, it features the state-of-the-art technology that you'd expect to find in a world-class facility. They have all the tools that are necessary for virtually every high-res delivery format, including equipment such as multi-channel consoles, converters that support up to 192 32-bit files, and of course, high-res capable monitors just like these. And to illustrate all this, we've recreated here at CES a simulation of the famous Control Room C at Capitol Studios. And we've even brought along Steve Genowick, one of Capitol's top engineers, to assist us here today. Steve is a 3-time Grammy nominee, and he's worked with such illustrious artists as Ray Charles, Diana Krall, Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, the list just goes on and on. So if you've got any questions for Steve artistically, technically, or historically, feel free to ask him after this presentation. And all of this is why Capitol Studios was recently acknowledged by the Recording Academy's Producers and Engineers Wing for its groundbreaking achievements. But enough of me talking, it's time for you to experience some of the legendary recordings that were made at Capitol Studios for yourself. Our first demonstration comes from the title song of the album, Come Fly With Me, Frank Sinatra's initial collaboration with arranger and conductor Billy May. This album, which received an Album of the Year nomination at the very first Grammy Awards, was recorded at Capitol Studios in that very room, Control Room A, nearly 60 years ago. And thanks to its meticulous restoration and high-res transfer, it sounds like Frank is in the room singing to us today. Let's listen.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band and he'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Once I get you up there where the air...
And feel free to come in closer. The sweet spot is directly in front of the console, so the closer you get, the better your listening experience will be. So don't be shy to... Oh yeah, there's a seat right open if you'd like to sit down. So, as you can imagine, remastering music is a special art. So whenever possible, Capitol Studios works directly with the album's original producer to make certain that the master is transferred correctly. Now, in the case of the Beach Boys' 1969 album, 2020, there were a variety of recording sessions involved, not just at Capitol, but at a number of other studios as well. Regardless, the results were outstanding, as this clip from I Can Hear Music clearly attests.
I hear the music all the time, yeah. I hear the music all the time now, baby. I hear the music all the time. I hear the music, I hear the music. I can hear music. I can hear music. The sound of
Throughout the 70s and 80s, Capitol Studios continued to play host to a long list of famous artists that spanned virtually every music genre. From Natalie Cole and Bob Seger to Tina Turner, MC Hammer, Dwight Yoakam, they all came to Capitol to record. And smooth jazz was no different. When guitarist George Benson decided to break the mold and record his first crossover album, Reason, his production team said, "Go to Capitol." And the #1 selling single from that album, This Masquerade, won Record of the Year for producer Tommy LaPuma and engineer Al Schmidt. Let's listen in 9624 HiRes.
Are we really happy here with this lonely game we play? Looking for words to say, searching but not finding understanding anywhere. Lost in a masquerade.
The appeal of Capitol Studios as the destination for great music is shared not just by American artists, but by artists from all over the world. So when the Australian band Crowded House went to record their debut album for Capitol Records in 1986, there was just one place to be. Here's a sample from the biggest single from that album, Don't Dream It's Over, which became the band's greatest international hit. During its first 40 years, Capitol Studios was known simply as the place where music history was made. And these last 2 decades are no different. When Ray Charles decided to make his final studio recording, he made it, of course, at Capitol. And this album, produced by John Burke and Phil Ramone, was released on Concord Records in 2004. It won 8 Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year and Album of the Year. This album features a variety of soul, country, blues, jazz, and pop standards that Ray performed with a number of guest artists. But perhaps his most acclaimed track was his duet with Norah Jones, entitled Here We Go Again. Let's listen.
Here we go again. He's back in town again. I'll take him back again. One more time.
remarkable recordings that were made at Capitol Studios can be purchased in HiRes Audio today from a number of digital stores. And soon you'll be able to stream these recordings in high-res as well. It's just another reason why artists, producers, and engineers all agree that HiRes Audio is the closest thing to the studio experience. Thanks so much for your time and attention. If you have any questions, 3-time Grammy nominee Steve Genowick is right there to answer them. Be sure to check out the listening stations throughout the booth, and have a great show, everybody. Thank you very much.